Hey, it's me, Raj Baddhan here, Sabras Radio, 12:60 a.m. online at sabrasradio.com and through your mobile app. I'm very honoured to have a massive star with me this afternoon here on Sabras Radio's Drive Time, and he is none other than the filmmaker, actor and entrepreneur. Yeah, I might as well call him entrepreneur as well because he's done so many things and he's going to be doing even bigger things later on this year. I'm so happy and delighted to bring to you Arbaaz Khan. Arbaaz, hello and welcome to my show.
Hi, Raj. Thank you very much, and a fantastic introduction. I don't know whether I deserve that, but it's wonderful. Thank you so much.
You do, Arbaaz. I mean, Arbaaz, come on. You've done so much work, so much incredible work during your work in the film industry, of course, outside it as well, in terms of all your productions. It's been an amazing journey. I mean, how would you kind of sum it up if you were to sum it up in a few words?
I guess it's just about just going about. Doing what you think is right, and considering that I've been born and brought up in a film family. My father has been an erstwhile writer for a very long time, and has done some of the best work in Indian cinema. So we grew up wanting to be associated with the films, and then I started off my career first as an actor, then as a producer, and then later as a director. And now I want to just continue with all of these aspects of my life, facets of my profession. And it's great. Every journey has been wonderful, and I am associated and attached to each one of them. Even today I'm open to acting roles, even though I've turned to producer and director. So it's wonderful. So I'm kind of enjoying. It has been slow and steady, but it has been good.
Arbaaz, I mean, you've been part of the biggest, probably one of the biggest franchises in India, in the Indian film industry, Dabangg. We'll come to that in a minute. But we've not seen you do a lot of films in terms of in front of the camera of late. I mean, what's happening? I mean, when are we going to see you back on screen?
Yeah, actually, this year you'll see a number of my films. What happened was while I was filming for Dabangg, those two films came back to back. The Dabangg 1 came in 2010. And Dabangg 2 came in 12. So in a matter of 2 years, I was producing both these films. So that kind of could put me out of the acting scenario for a bit because I was concentrating on my production. They were both big films, so I needed to give in all my time and effort and my expertise, whatever I had, to those projects. And because of that, I never took on any outside acting job. Whatever was there in my film, as the character that I played, Makhi, that was all that I was doing. So once I was done with that in 2012, and then for a while I took a break, just sorting out what I wanted to do next. And then I knew Dabangg 3 was going to take a while, so I got back. I produced a film in between. I did Dolly Ki Dolly. Yeah. And then once I had done Dolly Ki Dolly, I wanted to, get back to acting as well. And, because that's a passion that I started off with. And I started working my way back. I started sending feelers back to producers and directors because they may have thought that once I turned to producer and director with Dabangg, maybe I was not very keen on taking on roles, but I was always very interested. It's just that I didn't have the time to do that anymore. And now I'm back. I've signed up. I have in fact finished about 5 films in the last 1.5 years, and I'll have them releasing. I had one early this year, Jeena Isi Ka Naam Hai. Yep. And then right now I'm working on a film which is which I've just completed. It's called Red Affair. Maybe that's a tentative title. That's with Manjari Fadnis. And again, I mean to say, I'd done a film with her earlier, and right now again it's with her. And then there's a film that I'm doing, Jack and Dill, which has got Amit Saad and it's got Sonal Chauhan in it. Then there's a film that I'm doing with Sunny Leone, Tera Intezar. That is also complete. So I've got these films which I've worked in the last 1.5 years, which are ready for release, and which is there, which will probably let people know that I'm back in the reckoning in that sense.
Arbaaz, I mean, you mentioned that you've not done many films in front of the camera for some time, but are you missing that aspect of it, or are you now more hungry to do the more kind of behind the scenes, the producing and directing?
I think I don't want to let go of my acting thing because that's something that I would like to do because most of the films that I get offered now don't take too much of my time, because obviously it's like a given that I don't do typically the leading roles or the mainstream hero roles. I do important characters or very good roles in the film in the sense which don't take too much of my time, so I can give 25, 30 days to a film, or in some cases maybe 35 days to a film. So it's okay. So doing 2, maybe 3 films in a year doesn't take too much of my time. But when I get into film production, which is something that I'm enjoying right now, I have more creative control. So, and I'm more the behind the scenes kind of a guy, which I've realized in the, then that's where I got my recognition and my fame and my
Indeed.
respect also.
Yeah.
So I guess, I enjoy the behind the scenes kind of scenario in nurturing talent, being a bit creative, having a little more creative control over a lot of things. As an actor, you tend to be a little restricted. It's a role that you have to do, and that's all that you're trying to do and perform. But as a filmmaker, you select your script, you select your cast, your music, your locations, your budgets, your promotion, every aspect of the film you're involved with. So it kind of gives you a little more holistic approach towards filmmaking, and that gives me a little more satisfaction, and probably uses some of my whatever talent or expertise more.
Yeah. No, and that's one thing I've noticed, because you've got a kind of all-rounder kind of feel. You know how it feels to be in front of the camera, how it feels to be behind the camera. So you can kind of nurture the talent that you are introducing into films. I mean, one thing that I've noticed about you, and not just you, but of course your brothers as well, is that, you like to introduce a lot of new talent into the industry, and you're doing a lot of that with your new production. So,
Right.
How does that make you feel, introducing so much new talent?
It's wonderful. I'll tell you one thing, because I've done 3 films as a producer, and each of them with debutant directors, me included. I mean, I was also a debutant director, so I consider that 3 of my films had debutant directors. And sometimes the energy that when somebody's hungry to do their first film, or has got is so excited and has got so many ideas, sometimes you tend to get the best out of people when they're wanting to improve themselves or they want to start their careers. And more often than not, you could see some of the best work of any filmmaker or any film directors will be in their first 3 to 5 films.
Yeah.
It's whether it's a Suraj Barjatia or Adi Chopra or a Karan Johar or a Rajkumar Hirani or whosoever I would name, or a Sanjay Bansali. In their first 3 to 5 films, they do some of the best work. So initially working with newcomers is great as directors or something, because they tend to really bring in a lot of their talent onto the fore. And besides that, whether it's not just directors, it's also actors. There have been so many actors in a very short period of time in my films that I've given, I would say either I pulled them out from some stuff like Sonu Sood for that matter, or Sonakshi Sinha for that matter. Mm-hmm. And other actors which are there in a film. When I did Dolly Ki Doli, I had 3 young actors in it. Soram was around, but she's come. She made it post my film, in that sense, when she did Salman, the film with Salman, and then Neerja. So there are a lot of these people that I've worked with who are just up and coming, and whether music directors for that matter, like Sajid Wajid, getting the best out of them. Singers, whether it was Mamta Sharma when I gave her a break in Munni Badnaam Hui. So it was wonderful that a lot of careers have been set going with our productions and in my family, working with all these new people,
Mm-hmm. You mentioned family, and you know what? Media ka kaam hai, bolna, rumors, phailna. But I want to ask you the questions directly. So rumors about Ayush, of course, your brother-in-law. What's happening with him?
What's happening with him? I think he's still looking for something interesting to come his way. I really have not, know what exactly is on the card, and probably not in the right appropriate person right now to talk about what's happening on his career, but I'm sure he's looking for an interesting break, and when it is there, I think that the announcement or the knowledge of whatever that is will come through him itself.
Oh, brilliant. What about Dabangg 3? That's the big question now. When are we when are you going to start working on Dabangg 3? I know you're already working on it behind the scenes.
We've already started working on Dabangg 3. I mean to say, because now we know when is the window in which we're going to start. We're going to start sometime mid next year, because Salman is right now in the process of completing Tiger Zinda Hai. Yeah. Post that, he's already committed to do a film with Remo, and that's a dance film, and that'll happen post he finishes the film Tiger Zinda Hai. Then there is a window for early next year, which is then he might probably do 2 films simultaneously. He'll do my sister's film, Alvira's film, and he'll do my film. And we'll be shooting probably simultaneously around that time. That's when we will be doing Dabangg 3. I have already started, ideating and getting the writer on board, and started working on it. And it'll take a while till when we sit and lock a satisfied script. because we know that it's a franchise that everybody loves, and it's a character everybody loves, and we are responsible to give a very, very good film, and we are very conscious about that, and we want to do our best.
Yeah.
Not just put a number 3 to Dabangg and think that it's all going to work. No, we are very conscious about the fact that we want to do something good, and that's what we'll be working at. We'll have some, what people expect out of Dabangg. Great music, great action, great romance, all of these things which are synonymous with Dabangg. We will be very keen to bring a highly entertaining and wholesome film to them.
Well, we're looking forward to that. I mean, there's been a lot of rumours in the last couple of days about Prabhu Deva also being a part of the movie. Is that a rumour or is it true? I mean, is there anything you can say?
No, I think we are in the process of getting most probably locking him as the director. I think you're probably the first person I'm almost giving out something true because we believe the franchise is there. I already directed the second one. There was a possibility of me directing the third one, but I myself feel that getting somebody new onto the film, because I've already been part of both my earlier films and many closely associated, probably somebody who we can sit with and give him what we are looking for and have a fresher idea to it and give a different approach to it. It'll be a nice thing, because the franchise still exists, and just maybe having another hand to it would be a good idea, and if God forbid something doesn't turn out the other way, then I'm always there to to helm the affairs. But at the moment there is a possibility that yes, we might look in at somebody. As of now, our first person that we might look in would be Prabhu Deva, and we've already in talks with him, and hopefully if everything goes well, he should be on board.
That's wonderful. And one more question about Dabangg 3. I know there's been a lot of rumours about the cast. Of course, Salman's going to retain his part, but Sonakshi Sinha, can you say anything about her? Is she still going to be part of the franchise?
Yeah, she will. The story will be in such a way that what I can tell you right now is that we will have some Sonakshi in it. But there's a possibility, obviously, of a new girl. In fact, I wouldn't say a possibility. There'll be definitely another girl in the film. So, obviously, to add that kind of element of freshness and whatever newness to the film. So, the story would require maybe right now the way we are working. I don't know. I mean, sometimes there is such a possibility that certain scripts get bounced even after they get ready. But at the moment, the way the script is working, and we are pretty satisfied with the way we are ideating. We might be having a certain part of the film which is going to go into the prequel, and in that scenario, we might be looking for a new girl, and that's where we might a portion of the film will be a prequel, then, and some of it will be in current time. So that's how it's going to be.
Oh wow, sounds so exciting. Have you got any details as to when you envisage the film to release? I mean, obviously the film is yet to go on the floors, but when do you see?
Yeah, I think we'll start sometime mid next year, and then we want, like last time I just felt well in Dabangg 2 we were a little we all learn from whatever we do in the past, and I think in Dabangg 2 we had announced the release date even before we had started one day of shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it was not a good idea. We finally did exactly what we wanted to do, and we released it on the date that we had promised. But the only thing is that I felt that last time I could have held back the film because in 2012 Ekta Tiger came in August and Dabangg 2 came in December. So, when you're working with a very big star in a very short period of time to bring two films, almost of the same nature, because they both were action romance films, and Dabangg 2 was also that way. You must give a gap of, when you're working with a big star, the kind of what Salman has enjoyed in the last few years, when he's come eat to eat. Yeah. When you have a 1 year gap or a 6 months gap, you build in that little, what you call desire and want for the audience also, which a lot of these stars do, like, people like Shah Rukh and Amir, they don't come that off, like in every 6 months or every year for that matter.
Yeah, yeah.
So I felt the promotion of the film was still running, Ekta Tiger, and the music was still on, and we started promoting Dabangg 2. I felt the wise thing should have been that we should have, delayed the film for a couple of months, 3 months, maybe 6 months, and kept that little gap. And that what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just a business strategy.
Yeah.
It's just that this time I think I will surely keep in mind that if there's any film of Salman's coming, there'll be a minimum of a 6 month gap between his previous film and Dabangg 3 minimum. Ideally a year would be wonderful, but a minimum, because in that really you get that extra audience also when you do the film like that,
Yeah, you kind of need to tease the fans a little bit, just
No,
say
I don't
hi,
think
yeah,
more than a
yeah.
year is a good idea. But a good 1 year, 6 months to a year is a minimum, because they're very big films. By the time the residual effect of a last film remains, is like by the time it is in theaters, it's generally in theaters for about 8 to 12 weeks minimum, and then the music is constantly playing. There's still residual effect of the last
Of
film,
course, yeah.
and you're already there promoting your new film. So it's like, he's not even gone out of the scene and you've got something else coming. You need to get out for a while now, because these films are so big now. They're all
Yeah.
like 150, 200 crore films.
Exactly.
So, if you want to recover that kind of money, you've got to create that kind of a need and the want for audience to want to watch the film.
Yeah,
If they feel that they've got a choice, then it's not a very good business strategy.
I love the fact that you're talking on the business side. It's so refreshing to hear that from yourself. Arbaaz,
No, like I said, we all learn. I mean to say, I don't have any regrets. I mean to say, though I personally feel that had Dabangg 2 been pushed a bit, we would have done at least a 15 to 20% better recovery than what we did. We would have had a better scenario that time. It was not even, there was no holiday period also around that time. So it's like generally when you come on Eid, there is this little advantage that you get of that release. You get a 20-30% boost in the what you call box office, which is not a bad idea to look at. I mean to say, you should also, because you're investing so much of money, you're taking such a big risk, you must ensure that you don't release during exams, or you don't release during Ramzan, or you don't release during IPL. These are small little strategies that you take for a big film. That's why you see a lot of these films that Yash Raj and Karan Johar and all release, they come around Diwali, because they know people have the spending power, they've got their holidays, they've got those festive time. So, it's like how in Europe, Christmas time and all is like a great time for a film to release.
Indeed.
So you have to strategize and you have to release your films also accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Arbaaz, one thing you mentioned, of course, let's stick with Dabangg. The theme is the fact that we haven't had the Dabangg tour, the concert here in the UK. I know it's been around the world. Everyone else has had a little bit of a taster of it, but we've not. Are there any plans? I know there's been a few rumours that the show could be coming here sometime late in the year. Can you talk about that?
There could be a possibility, because that has been a highly successful tour this time around, and they have not explored in certain cities, and there's a possibility, if there's a window of dates and everything, and if there's like promoters around who are like interested, then maybe they can reconsider those scenarios. So yes, so there is a possibility. I am not involved with that aspect of those shows. My younger brother is, so I really wouldn't know, but I guess yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a possibility of it happening in London for that matter.
Okay, and quickly, Tube Light's coming out at the end of the month. Of course, it's a nice little brotherly type of film. It's all to do with bromance. Your thoughts on that movie?
Well, it seems like a very interesting film, and whosoever has seen it, unfortunately, there was a screening the other day, and I couldn't make it because I had a prior commitment. Whosoever has seen it has loved the film. It's a little different from the films that he has done in the past in terms of his performances. That I've heard is one of his finest performances, and it's an extremely interesting film, very emotional and very heart-warming film. So I guess his audience, which likes films like that now, are just going to lap it up.
Brilliant. Arbaaz, it has been a pleasure talking to you. I know it's meant to be a 10-minute interview, but you know what? Both Mazaya talking to you and getting insight into your thinking on films. I wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll see you soon on the big screen. Have you got a final message for all your fans out there?
Yeah, just thank you very much for loving our family and giving us all the love and respect, and seeing our films. Just keep on with the love, and we're there to entertain you guys forever.
Thank you so much, Arbaaz, and all the best.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Raj.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.